All right. Welcome everybody to Barca News. Sorry about that technical difficulties, but we're back. We're live. We're good to go. Today is August 7th, 2023, and we have three major stories brewing right now. You're starting that with Ansu Fati could be placed on the summer transfer market, which is not good. Also, it's reported that there's currently division within the club about whether Barcelona should sign Neymar or not. And finally, it looks like Manchester City have closed the door on the possible signing of Bernardo Silva. We have a lot to discuss, so let's dive right in. Welcome everybody to Barca News' live stream. Again, I apologize for that technical difficulties we had. I had to end the stream early, delete it, start a new one. But we're back on. I see everybody's joining back. Again, sorry guys about that. As always, the Barca News live streams are on Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's usually not that many technical difficulties. So again, I apologize. As usual, we'll do a segment of news. Then we'll head to the chat section. We'll get a discussion going. Of course, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you are looking for Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag. The link is down below in the description. Now, I do have a really cool announcement about a new partnership between Barca News and a new company. I won't discuss it yet. I'll say it a little bit later, just because I know people are still joining, and I just want to make the announcement to as many people as possible because I think it's good news for the channel. And of course, I always love to share good news with you guys because it's thanks to you guys that this is even possible and that this channel continue to grow. Now, enough of my talking and yammering and blabbering. I know you guys did not come here to just hear me talk nonsense. You guys here are for the news, for Barcelona news, which I have plenty of that for you. I'm going to start with 4 bits of news, really short ones, put them all together, bunch them up together, and then we'll do the chat section, and then we'll talk about the 3 main stories, which are Ansu Fati, Neymar, and Bernardo Silva. So let's start with the first bits of news. The first one is that Barcelona are very, very, very close to finalizing the signing of Edu Sanchez. Now, if you don't know who Edu Sanchez, it's okay. He plays in the lower categories of La Liga. He's an 18-year-old left back who currently plays for Badajoz. I think I said that correctly. And Barcelona are very close to signing him. They've actually beat a lot of clubs in La Liga to the signing of Edu Sanchez. Apparently, he's kind of has been getting a lot of attention lately. He did really well this past season. Again, 18 years old, a left back. And Barcelona have signed him initially for the Juvenil A or the under-19 team. But there's also talks about him playing with the Barca Athletics under the orders of Rafa Marquez. Now, what does this mean? It means that Barcelona are going to try out this youngster in the academy. If he works out, if he shows promise, he could start training with the first team. Maybe not this season, maybe next season. And maybe eventually, if he's good enough, he could be promoted to the first team and become Alejandro Valdez's substitute, because for now, obviously, Valdez's substitute is Marcos Alonso, who has only renewed for 1 more year, for 1 more season. So eventually, Barcelona are going to have to find a replacement for Marcos Alonso to be the substitute of Valdez. So Edu Sanchez could be one of those, and Barcelona are very, very close to finalizing his signing. Now, more news in the transfer market. Stanis Pedrola will be leaving Barcelona on loan to the Serie A club, Sampdoria. If you don't know who Stanis Pedrola is, he's a 19-year-old left winger who plays for Barca Athletic or played for Barca Athletic. He can also play on the right wing. He can also play as a second striker. He had a really, really good season last season. But of course, unfortunately, with the first team, we have currently 3 left wingers with Ferran, Ansu, and Abde. So given that there's no space on the first team for this guy, then he will be leaving it alone for Sampdoria with an obligation to buy worth 3 million euros. So next summer, Barcelona will get 3 million euros. And Barcelona have reserved 50% of any future sales. And they have also inserted a buyback clause in the contract worth 7 million euros. So good deal overall. You know, there was no space for the guy, unfortunately. He has to leave. But Barcelona will make 3 million. If Stanis Pedrola ends up, exploding, living up to his full potential, then Barcelona can buy him back only for 7 mil. which is not a bad deal. And even if he does end up exploding, but there's still no space for him on the first team, Barcelona will retain 50% of any future sales, which of course is always a good deal. Now, the third bit of news is that Frankessy has officially passed his medical exams in Paris ahead of his move to the Saudi club Al Ahly, who have offered Barcelona 15 million euros. So Frankessy should be joining the Saudi club pretty soon. It's expected that this deal will be completed in the next 24 hours. So we should be expecting an official announcement from Barcelona probably tomorrow, Tuesday, if not Wednesday at the latest. But Frankessy, very, very close to completing his move to Al Ahly, where Barcelona will get 15 million euros. I know some of you think that's not a lot, but overall, given the market conditions, it's a good deal because Frankessy did arrive for free. So the 50 million euros will be pure profit for Barcelona. Plus, they'll be able to remove his salary, and all of that together could be used towards registering more contracts. So the exit operations are still, on the way. I know a lot of people were worried when the market first opened, but I said, calm down. There's still time. The exits will come. And lo and behold, the exits are here. The final bit of news, really short. İlkay Gündoğan, Barcelona's newest signing, has been chosen the best football player in Germany, which of course is a testament to the amazing season that he had last season. He, of course, won the treble with Manchester City. And I'm very, very, very excited to see Gündoğan play with Barcelona this upcoming season. And hopefully he can help us compete in Europe. All right. Those were the 4 bits of news. Let's head to the chat section. Let's get a discussion going, and then we'll talk about Ansu Fati and the possibility of him leaving this summer. All right. So where are we at? Whoo. All right. A lot of guys were waiting, asking what's happening. Stanley wants to know what's happening with Cancelo. Xavi wants him. Barcelona want him on a 1-year loan. Of course, the problem is Manchester City want to offload him permanently. Barcelona are willing to offer like a 1-season loan with an option to buy for next summer. But of course, for now, Manchester City are prioritizing any club that would come to the Premier League and offer Manchester City 50, 60 million euros to take Cancelo on a permanent basis. So for now, that's the holdup because, again, Barcelona cannot afford to buy him now. It would have to be 1-season loan, but Manchester City would prefer to offload him. So most likely, if the Cancelo deal happens, it's not going to happen towards the end of the market because, again, Manchester City are going to want to wait to see if anyone is willing to take Cancelo on a permanent basis. All right. Let's see. Grandmaster Yoda, what's up, man? You made it. What's the minimum you would accept for Ansu? Man, that's a difficult question, but I want to say maybe 70, 80 million minimum. Nothing below. Let's see what else. Chico says, Xavi is the most confused coach. How would he insist on some players other clubs like Man City doesn't want to release? I mean, that's literally the nature of the market. That's what every single coach in the history of football has ever done. One club says, I don't want this player. All the other clubs who are interested jump on it. I mean, if coaches or clubs didn't want to sign players that other clubs didn't want, then nobody would sign anyone because that's literally how the transfer market works. You sign players that other clubs don't want. Anyways, let's talk about Ansu Fati because there's rumors, there's talk, there's gossip that Ansu Fati could be placed on the market during this summer. Now, there was talks about Ansu Fati being offloaded at the beginning of the summer transfer market, but it looks like he was doing really well in the trainings. We saw him do really well during the preseason. So his coaches believe, or Xavi Hernandez and the coaches believe, that if Ansu Fati continues on this path, that he could regain and recoup his form from before he suffered all those injuries. So it seemed like that chapter was closed, that the decision was made that Ansu Fati was going to stay in Barcelona for at least one more season. But the problem is that Ferran Torres does not want to leave, and Xavi Hernandez is insisting on Abde to stay. So if Ferran is not leaving and Abde is staying, that means there's 3 wingers on the left, and one of them has to go. Barcelona cannot keep all 3. And since, again, Ferran is not leaving and Abde is going to be staying, then it could be Ansu Fati. Now, for now, Ansu Fati is insisting that he doesn't want to leave. Jean Laporta says he doesn't want Ansu Fati to leave either, because given that Ansu Fati is, kind of like, was one of the crown jewels of La Masia. He's a La Masia graduate. So Laporta considers that if Ansu Fati leaves, it would kind of be a loss for the club. So Jean Laporta does not want to see that either. But there is talks because someone does have to leave. And Ansu Fati kind of has not been getting, let's say, the full support of the club, because the club, would like him to stay, but they're not necessarily being vocal about it. They're not guaranteeing anything for Ansu Fati. Then they're saying that maybe that could end up changing the mind of Ansu Fati, and maybe he'll want to leave the club since he's not getting the full support that he would hope to get from the club. Now, of course, there's also that added pressure, the fact that his own father, Ansu Fati's father, has been wanting Ansu to leave the club. Also, his agent, Jorge Mendes, wants Ansu Fati to leave the club. So they're saying between the pressure of the father and the agent and the fact that, yes, Xavi Hernandez would like him to stay, but is not necessarily 100% behind him, that Ansu could end up leaving. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Ansu should leave? Should he stay? Let's head to the chat section. Let's get a discussion going, and then we'll talk about the big story, or the bigger story, if you may, about Neymar, who is causing division amongst the Barcelona board on whether the club should sign him or not. All right, where did we leave off? Richard says, mark my words, we will regret if we let Ansu leave. All right. What else do you guys think? Chico says, from the preseason, Ansu has shown his qualities and confidence. Letting Ansu would be a huge mistake that we will regret in the future. And Crispy says, hey, Mo, sorry I'm late. I was celebrating my birthday. All right, Crispy, happy birthday, man. I hope you had a good time with your parents and siblings. And thank you for joining the live stream on such a special occasion. Happy birthday again. Everybody, let's wish Crispy Chicken happy birthday in the chat section. He's sacrificing his special day to be here with us. He deserves it. Let's see. Mark says, why doesn't Xavi want Neymar? I've been seeing a lot about injuries, but loves Dembele and he gets hurt as much. Good point. And I will talk about Neymar in a little bit. And Brad says, are you for all these one-season loans, Cancelo, Joao? Well, and Neymar. Joao has been ruled out by Xavi. Cancelo would probably be the only one-season loan, and that's just simply because of the club's finances, right? As far as Neymar, it would not be necessarily a season loan. But let's talk about it. It's a good segue, because the news today is that Neymar is causing division amongst the board on whether Barcelona should sign him or not. Now, I told you it can't be a summer transfer market unless we talk about Neymar. I feel like that's been the case since 2017. Ever since he left, every summer we have to talk about Neymar's possible arrival. And lo and behold, this summer is no different. And once again, Neymar has been linked with Barcelona. Of course, I told you that there was no way, given the price of the player, his salary, his transfer fee, etc. But now it seems that part of the board are considering the signing of the Brazilian, more specifically Jean Laporta, with other members of the board also considering his signing. Now, how does this whole started? Well, we know Neymar's agent is Pini Xavi. Pini Xavi is a close friend of Laporta. He has helped the club several times, whether making signings or offloading players. He was instrumental in bringing Robert Lewandowski. And when you're talking about people like Pini Xavi or like Jorge Mendes, they don't do things for free. Whether it's bonuses or whether it's favors, these people don't do anything for free. And it seems that Pini Xavi has been kind of trying to convince Laporta, convince the board to rescue Neymar, for lack of words, because Neymar is dying to get out of PSG. And Pini Xavi's been pitching kind of like the story of the one last dance, like the Michael Jordan one last dance, when Neymar can come back, they do one last dance with the team, redeem himself. But that's not why the board or Jean Laporta are considering his return. The reason why they're considering his return is given the media presence and kind of like the fame of Neymar and what would mean for the club. It was kind of like with the Messi deal. Of course, Messi generates a lot more revenue and sponsorship than Neymar, but nonetheless, Neymar is up there. So that's why Laporta and some of the board members are considering, because Neymar could bring, more money, more excitement, more attention to the club, especially because Barcelona, as you know, they will be playing in the Olympic Stadium this summer, which is half the capacity of the Camp Nou. So Barcelona will lose about 100 million euros from that. Also, I told you about in previous videos that Barcelona are having very hard time filling out the Olympic Stadium at Montjuic, with a lot of the season ticket holders not wanting to buy season tickets this season because, they prefer to go to the Camp Nou. So Laporta and the board think by bringing Neymar, it can solve that problem. Perhaps he would bring some sponsorship with him, help us with that 100 million euro loss. He would fill up the Montjuic, which again would help with some of that fallout that Barcelona will face as part of this move. Now, the other half of the board, those who are against the move for Neymar, are against it because they think the same amount of sponsorship revenue, media attention that Neymar brings is equal to amount of the drama, of the problems, and of the injuries that come with the player. So that's why, and they think that it's simply not worth it, no matter how much money he brings with him, how many tickets he sells at Montjuic. They think it's not worth all the drama and the problems and the toxicity that Neymar brings with him. Now, where does Xavi Hernandez stand? Xavi Hernandez is completely against the move. He thinks Neymar is a very toxic player that could end up completely imploding the locker room, especially with how much close-knit and we've seen it, right? And the locker room has become very, very close. And Xavi does not want to ruin that by putting a ticking bomb. In essence, that's what Neymar is. He's a ticking bomb that continues to blow up over and over again. And he doesn't want to do that to the locker room. And more importantly, because we're talking about a team that's very, very young. It's a lot of young players on the team. People like Balde, like Gavi, like Pedri. And the last thing you want is bringing someone like Neymar and teaching them or being a bad role model to them. So that's where we stand right now. Neymar wants to come to Barcelona. He's been wanting to come to Barcelona. Laporta and some members want to bring him because of what it would mean for the club financially. Other members don't want him because of the problems that he brings. And then Xavi Hernandez is saying no because of the toxicity that Neymar would bring to the locker room. Where will all this end? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see who's going to end up winning, whether it's going to be Laporta or whether it's going to be Xavi. But my opinion, I say no. I think bringing Neymar will be a horrible idea. Is he a player that's very, very talented and gifted? Absolutely. Talent-wise, I put Neymar in the top 5 in the world, alongside Messi and Ronaldo. That's how talented this player is. No doubt about it. Is he a Barcelona legend who gave us a lot of happy memories? Absolutely. We all remember the MSN attacking trio. We hadn't seen anything like it. We're probably not going to see anything like it for a very long time. Neymar was instrumental in Barcelona winning the treble. So no doubt that he's a Barca legend. And I will always forever be thankful for all the great memories that he gave us, all the amazing goals, the victories, the trophies, etc. But that was 7 years ago. And the Neymar from today is not the same Neymar from 7 years ago. First of all, he's 31 years old, almost 32. So he's way past his prime. And the only way for him is down. Now, you might say, well, he can still give us a couple of good seasons. Okay, valid point. But that brings me to my second point. Neymar has a chronic ankle injury. And this is not an opinion. This has been corroborated by doctors, by medical exams, that Neymar's ankle, from all the injuries that he's suffered, it's now been weakened. It hasn't healed right. It's a chronic injury, which means it's never going to go away. So there's nothing you can do about it. Whether, he can hire all the therapists in the world, eat right, sleep right, etc. It's not going to heal. It's going to be a chronic injury, which makes him injury prone. So yes, he might give us 2-3 good seasons, but what's the point of those seasons if he spends half of them injured, right? It's back to the same problem with Dembele. And we don't have to forecast this. We literally see it every season with PSG. Neymar gets injured and then he's out for months. And then, even if he can give us 2, 3 good seasons and can stay somewhat healthy, brings me to my third point, which is Neymar is not in the same mental state that he was 6, 7 years ago when he was at Barca. He's simply not. Back then, he was hungry, he was motivated, he wanted to win, he wanted to be great. Now, we don't see that. The Neymar from today is more preoccupied with his persona as Neymar the celebrity over his persona as Neymar the football player. And we see it, right? Constantly partying at casinos, on yachts, with models, and I'm not saying football players should not have fun. They should. They work hard for their money. They should be able to enjoy it. But Neymar is more concerned in enjoying himself, in partying, and being a celebrity than actually training. I mean, we've heard the stories. We've heard the stories of him leaving a training concentration with PSG on a helicopter to go to an island to film a reality show. That's the kind of Neymar we're talking about. So I know a lot of people like to reminisce and romanticize the past and think about those days when Neymar used to, win us trophies and score amazing goals. But that's not the same guy. And that's why I think it'd be a bad idea. But of course, my opinion doesn't matter because I don't get to make any decisions at Barcelona. So we're going to have to see who will make the decision, whether Xavi Hernandez is going to win, whether Jean Laporta. So it's going to be an interesting summer. Like I said, it's not a summer transfer market if we don't talk about Neymar. Oh my God, this chat blew up on me, guys. By the way, 186 people and only 45 likes. That's a quarter of the people watching have hit the like button. Hit that like button, guys. It helps this channel a lot, more than anything else. So please, guys, and let's get back to the chat section. All right, Hart Wemo. All right, Hart, what's up, man? By the way, Hart is the guy who made the intro. I know a lot of you guys say that you like my channel's intro. It was Hart who made it. He's an absolute OG. And if you need anything, hit him up as far as, your editing needs, visual needs, whatever it may be. Oh, so Hart, I say all that and I forget to read your comment. Hart says, Neymar is injury prone. Can't count on him to finish a full season. Agreed. Ben Abia says, can we just take Neymar on loan? The problem is PSG is just not going to want to loan him for free. They're going to want a loan fee. And even if they do loan him out for free, we're talking about his salary. He makes, I think, 50 million euros at PSG. I mean, even if he agrees to reduce his salary, what is he going to reduce it to? 30, 20? That's still way out of the budget. I mean, the only way we can afford Neymar if he agrees to make 6 million, 7 million. Do you see Neymar going from making 50 to 6, especially with the lifestyle that he leads? I just don't see it. Okay, let's see. Dark Knight says, Laporta and the board are not stupid. We are sure he will bring revenue. We ain't sure about drama. People change. If Neymar was 18, 19, 20 years old, I will tell you yes. Maybe he can change. Maybe under the right guidance. Maybe Xavi Hernandez can talk to him. The guy is almost 32. And you know the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And that applies to humans, of course. I mean, the saying is about humans, but you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. And Neymar at 32 years old, if he hasn't changed, he's not going to change. That happened with Ronaldinho. I don't know if you guys remember, but Ronaldinho, one of the reasons why he got kicked out of Barcelona by Pep Guardiola, despite his immense talent, was for the same problem, right? He liked to party, stay up late, women, alcohol. Just talks about he would show up to trainings hungover. He's even showed up to Champions League matches hungover. And that's why Pep Guardiola got rid of him because, again, if you're not disciplined, it doesn't matter how talented you are. And Ronaldinho Gaúcho is the biggest example of that. He was the best in the world at the moment. And if you're not disciplined, then you're not going to cut it. And Ronaldinho got kicked out of Barcelona because of that. And Inter Milan signed him with that same premise, saying, yeah, he likes to party, but we'll fix him. We'll make him straight, right? It didn't happen. He went to Italy and continued to party, and it didn't work out either because at that age, people don't change. They just don't. Anyways, sorry to break your hearts. I don't know if you guys maybe were hoping someone would change. It just doesn't happen. Okay, let's talk about Bernardo Silva. because Manchester City have closed the door, or at least they're saying that they're closing the door to the possibility of Barcelona signing him. Now, I've told you already, Xavi Hernandez has requested Bernardo Silva as a replacement for Dembélé. He's always been Xavi Hernandez's dream signing. And Barcelona have tried to negotiate with Manchester City, while at the same time knowing full well that this is a very difficult operation, but nonetheless, they are trying it out for the sake of Xavi, since Xavi did request it. So, of course, their duty is to at least try. Now, there was talks about one season loan with an obligation to buy worth 65 million euros because, of course, Manchester City won 80 million euros. Barcelona cannot pay 80 million euros this summer. So Barcelona looks like they offered one loan season with an obligation to buy next summer worth 65 million. And it seems that Manchester City, not only did they reject that deal, they pretty much laughed and say, "Are you kidding? This is a joke." Absolutely not. Now, the player himself is considering renewing with Manchester City. His contract expires in 2025, but if he does receive a good offer from Barcelona, he is willing to come to the club, but he's not willing to force his way out or cause any problems because, of course, he is thankful to his current club and he doesn't want to cause any problems with them. So Bernardo Silva is willing to wait, but Manchester City have told Barcelona that absolutely not. They're done negotiation. They heard their ridiculous offer of a loan with an obligation to buy. So that's it. We're done. And now they are preparing a renewal offer for Bernardo Silva, which, again, the player is considering. He's willing to wait for Barcelona. But if Barcelona do not make a serious offer pretty soon, then Bernardo Silva will accept the contract renewal because he wants to start the Premier League knowing exactly where he wants to play. He doesn't want to start the Premier League thinking, oh, am I going to stay here? Am I going to go to Barcelona? He wants to start the season fully focused, knowing where he's going to play. So unless Barcelona make a very, very serious offer to convince Manchester City to let us have Bernardo Silva, then Bernardo Silva will renew with the Premier League club. I really doubt it. That's going to happen because, again, like I said, the offer would have to be very, very serious for Manchester City to change their mind. And Barcelona are simply not in the financial or economic condition to make any serious offers to Manchester City to change their mind. All right, now time for an announcement. Since I see 209 people watching, I have an exciting announcement, and that's that Barca News has partnered up with Bet Us or Bet US. I probably should have learned the exact name of the company before I announced it, but it's a sports betting company. It's an online sports betting company. The season is about to start, so if you're feeling lucky, if you're feeling adventurous, and you want to play some bets on some matches, you can do it on Bet Us. The link is in the description. If you sign up, they're offering 125% offer. In other words, if you deposit $100 to make a bet, you'll get $125. So they'll give you $25 for free. So again, if you want to make any bets, the link is in the description. I will be putting the link in every description of every video. So if you are feeling lucky, hit the link. Okay, by the way, that was all the news. I should have made the announcement in the middle of the video or in the middle of the live stream. I forgot. So much to talk about. But we have a few more minutes so we can get a discussion going, see what you guys have to say. You know, some very contentious topics today, whether it's Neymar, because I know some people want him, some don't. Ansu, some people want him to stay, some people don't. Bernardo Silva, maybe not as contentious, but nonetheless. So let's see what you guys are saying. Mark says Neymar is better than Ferran. I mean, yeah, but again, it's not as easy as just saying, is this guy better than the other? You know, these players don't play in a vacuum. It's a lot more considerations to take. Because, you know, what's the point of a player being better if he's not going to play, right? Or if he's going to come and blow up your whole locker room. All right. Chicken says, nobody knows Neymar more than Xavi. They played together. Great point. And if Xavi, who has played with Neymar, who's really good friends with Neymar, is telling you Neymar should not come to Barcelona, we should probably listen. All right, Fibsy says his injury issue might be an advantage. We get the economic advantage and he won't play anyway since he'll be injured. Well, it's not about his playing. His playing is fine. When he's on the field, he obviously does magic. Like, he's on the field, he's fine. It's what happens outside the field that's the problem with Neymar, right? It's what happens in the locker room, what happens, in training sessions, missing out trainings, partying at night. That's the problem, not on the field. On the field, he still performs. If you overlook the diving and all the theatrics, he still performs. Chuchu says, all this won't be happening if Rafinha was an exciting player. I agree 100%. If Rafinha was the player that we all expected that he would be when they signed him for 60 million euros, we would not be talking about Bernardo Silva or Neymar. We would be like, why is it that all the good Brazilians end up ruining their careers by partying and being indisciplined? And the only disciplined Brazilian, because I do have to give this to Rafinha. Rafinha, as far as discipline, he's top-notch guy. He trains hard. He works hard. He plays hard. Very disciplined guy. But why is it that the only disciplined Brazilian happens to suck? Oh, man. That's the Barca luck, I guess. Perez says, glad I get to catch another live stream. I've been loving your videos. They are so informative and help me get through my long work days. Thank you, Perez. I'm glad I can help with your long work days. I have long work days too, and I know the pain. All right. Crispy says, I kind of want to see Ney at Inter Miami with Messi, Boozy, Jordi, and possibly Iniesta and Suarez. Man, if that's funny that you say that, because today I was texting with my friends and someone had tweeted, I can't remember which reporter, that's saying that the more realistic option for Neymar is MLS. And I'm like, and I texted my friend, I'm like, imagine if he goes to Inter Miami and, you have Messi, Suarez, Boozy, Jordi. I mean, that just would not be fair. That would be total slaughter, but it would be funny to watch, I think. And then one of my friends says Mbappe should go to the MLS, which I also thought was funny. I mean, can you imagine Mbappe in MLS? The guy would be scoring 1,000 goals a season. Chuchu says, congratulations, Mo, making deals faster than Barcelona. Thank you. Kelfa says, no exit. Yes, there is a couple of exits. I mentioned them at the beginning of the live stream. I don't want to be repetitive. So you can watch it at when it ends. Tatu says, is there any news on Chiesa? No news on Chiesa. I mean, initially it was thought that we would swap Kessie with Chiesa, but obviously Kessie's going to Saudi, so that's probably out of the question. Probably Chiesa, the only way we could sign him is to be a straight transfer. Suhail says, why is Barca not concentrating on Cancelo? Because it's not up to us. We have offered the loan. It's up to Manchester City whether they want to accept it or not. And of course, they prioritize a permanent transfer over a loan. All right. I think that's it, guys. That's all the news for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your likes, your comments, and everything. For those of you who will be watching when the live stream ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description, chapters in the timeline, so you can know where every story begins. Thank you again. I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Hopefully good news. And as always, Visca Barça.